Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with my good friend Kristy Reynolds-Rafiyq with DR Horton, and we're going to be talking today about interest rates, the difference that taxes make in your purchase, and also a little bit of inside information that most people don't know about what terms mean when a new home sales rep or a realtor tells you these items. Buckle up, let's get ready, and let's make this happen. So let's jump into a couple of questions that I get a lot from clients.
Sure.
So I just had a conversation with a client today where we were talking about living in different school districts in Central Ohio. And I was explaining what the difference would be between living in one school district that has a higher tax rate and living in another school district that has a lower tax rate, and what that impact is on taxes. Once that tax bill comes, someone's got to pay it, and
Sure.
It's going to be the buyer.
Sure. Well, I could give you an example for out in the Grove City area. We have a location that is Grove City, and it's Southwestern Schools. And then literally 5 minutes away, we have a location that is Commercial Point, that is Tays Valley Schools. You could take the exact same $400,000 house, and the monthly tax bill is about $139 different. So there's two ways to look at that. You could buy the exact same house for $139 less per month, or you could increase your buying power. So if the house in Grove City was $400, but the house in Commercial Point was for, let's say, $80 or $430, then you could offset that difference in the monthly payment because of the lower taxes.
So let's talk about what difference there is between a $400,000 house and, let's say, a $450,000 house.
Sure. Difference meaning like the size or the amenities or?
All the above.
Okay.
What are the things you would see different? Building with DR Horton, what would be the difference in the house between a $400,000 house in Grove City and a $450,000 house in Commercial Point?
Sure. What I would say upwards of 500 square feet difference. And
Well, that's
then
a lot.
as well as amenities such as maybe a 3-car garage or a larger home site. So those are all things that additional buying power could gain you by simply looking at a location that's 5 minutes away where the tax base is lower.
So let's say someone, is interested in a house in Grove City, but they've got to really scrimp and save. Okay, now you guys are building spec homes that are going to fit every price point. Oh, hopefully, right? So a house in Grove City that's at $400,000, let's say it's got, standard countertops instead of granite countertops.
All of our homes come standard with granite countertops.
Okay, so that's my mistake. But let's say that we're looking at different floor plans then. So we're looking about 500 square feet difference. That's a whole other bedroom, right?
Agreed.
know.
Could be the home office that you were hoping to have, or maybe instead of just having 4 bedrooms, it could be 4 bedrooms plus a loft.
And then the difference between a house with a two-car garage versus a house with a 3-car garage is roughly how much difference in price? Yeah, average.
I would say roughly $16,000 would be the cost of adding a 3rd-car garage.
So literally, by going 5 minutes away, you're looking at potentially a 3-car garage, potentially another bedroom, potentially, a 9-foot basement as opposed to other basement.
A loft or a home office.
Loft, home office. So it really makes a huge, huge difference. Now the next question that comes up, why should I buy now? Most common answer I give to that is interest rate.
And I would agree with that completely. Interest rate coupled with the fact that pricing's not going down. We're in a situation where there's an incredible amount of demand and the supply is low, and the ability for that to supply to change to accommodate the demand in the short term is not likely.
Right.
So by locking in an interest rate now, you're locking in at historical lows and also pricing that is reflective of the market condition today. I tell people all the time that say, oh, I'm going to wait a year. I want to save more money. I ask the question, so how much do you think you could save over a year? The standard general answer I get is, $10,000 to $15,000 more. And I ask them how they think that would impact their monthly payment. So based on today's rates, if you put an additional $10,000 down, it would impact your monthly payment by about $50. If the interest rate changes between now and a year from now, by as little as 0.25%, you've negated all of that savings. And then on top of that, what are prices going to be a year from now? The likely answer is that they're going to be higher than they are today. Waiting to buy real estate is never the answer.
As an example, let's take over the summer, this past summer. What percentage price increases were you seeing in the home prices just within your company?
During a quarter, in 1 quarter, we saw a 2% price increase just in that 3-month period.
And I can say that was much lower than I saw with others. I actually had one true story. I had a client that signed a contract to build a new home. They signed the contract, and the next week, there was a $35,000 base price increase.
Was that a result of lumber?
Result of lumber.
Yes.
Now that was in the middle of summer when the lumber prices were crazy, and that's unusual. But it was $35,000 on a $450,000 house.
That makes the difference for somebody whether or not that particular floor plan is affordable.
Exactly. So, while D.R. Horton took a 2% price increase on a quarter, I mean, that was almost an 8% price increase just on base price in that community. It was crazy.
It's a big increase.
Now, needless to say, my client was happy that I practically broke his arm to sign the contract.
That day.
That day.
I feel like a salesperson, sometimes we walk the line of being high pressure or not. And it's our job to inform the client and the realtor of what's to come for us without sounding like we're just trying to get you to
jam that deal together.
Just sign the paper and close the deal. But unfortunately, if we don't take that approach and tell you about these price increases that are coming, we typically know about them ahead of time, and it's information that we like to share.
But you can't.
Because the next day, if somebody comes back the next day and they didn't sign and you did take that price increase, they're going to be incredibly disappointed, and you want to try to avoid that. I would rather be upfront with someone, tell them, what's to come at the risk of sounding like I'm trying to pressure them versus the opposite of that, of having them come back the next day and be incredibly disappointed because they can't afford the home that they really want.
Right. Actually, let's take a little bit of a tangent there. So let's talk, we have what we call realtor speak. Realtor speak, quaint, translates to small. Okay? All of us have seen these terms. I'll talk a little bit about new home consultant speak.
We have our own jargon, that is true.
Very much so. So if you hear a new home consultant say, "Trust me, you need to sign today," that translates to,
we're having a price increase tomorrow.
Exactly. If you hear a new home consultant say, "I don't think that will add value to the house," that translates to,
you could do it for less after you close.
Okay, so we all have so Kristy is employed by an employer, by D.R. Horton in this case, to represent the company. But I choose the home consultants I work with that not only work for the company they work for. I fully expect her to represent her company and do a good job. But I also expect the new home consultants that I work with to also take into account the situation of the client. And if it doesn't make sense, say, "You know what? I'm going to help you with something. even though I'm not going to sell you a house. Or I'm going to tell you something better than what I can offer you.
Yeah. I'm passionate about homeownership as a whole, and I just want you to own a home. If I figure out that I don't have the right location, the right price point, the right product, but feel strongly that you're a great candidate for new construction, then I'm going to help you find the right fit, even if that isn't with me. I have great relationships with other builders in our area, and I know my competition extremely well. And if I feel like there's something there that's a better fit for you, that better serves your interests, I'm going to let you know about it.
And that's what you should look for in the partners that you choose to put together when you're on your home search. It doesn't matter whether it's your lender, whether it's your realtor, whether it's sometimes people are looking for rehab properties, the contractor, someone looking for a new home, the new home consultant that they're going to work for. I can honestly tell you, and Kristy's going to disagree with me here, but the difference between what D.R. Horton builds and what other competing builder builds, they're really small. Really small. Boils down to where do you want to live and who do you feel the most comfortable working with. I know that if Kristy sells a home to one of my clients and the warranty department isn't responding quite as quickly, it's not Kristy's job to get involved.
But I will.
But she will. Those are the people I choose to work with. You know, when I drive all the way I drive 45 minutes to bring clients down here to Kristy because I know that that's the way she works. I have a model home of D.R. Horton within 5 minutes of my house, but I come here because of that attitude. That's the kind of attitude I would encourage any of the folks watching this video to pay attention to. So let's circle back around here a little bit and talk about buying today. So we talked about prices going up. That obviously impacts your payment. It obviously impacts
your buying power, what you can get for the money.
Right. But interest rates, I think everybody can agree that right now we're close to bottom on where
Agreed.
Interest rates can even go.
Agreed.
Because I've never seen anything like it. I remember refinancing at 4.75.
And you thought that was a phenomenal rate.
And I told my wife it would never drop again. It would never be below that. I just closed a deal at 2.78.
Yes.
So 2 full percentage points below where I thought the bottom was. Well, I can honestly tell you at 2.78, there is not much more room to drop.
That's right. There's something in the industry that's called the floor rate, and we are as close to it as we've ever been.
Right. So let's talk about the impact on someone's buying power. Let's first talk about, I'm just going to wait. And let's assume there's no price increase. Let's keep the same $400,000 house. And let's assume we're buying it in the same place. But they wait, and the interest rate moves by a quarter or a half or something like that. On a $400,000 house, how much are we talking about, Kristy?
Sure.
And by the way, the reason I'm shooting this particular topic with Kristy, she is an absolute master at making payment numbers come together for clients. And we've been wanting to do this video for a long time because she is so good at it. So after a little bit of calculation, Kristy has come up with some really good scenarios to explain what the difference is in interest rate and what your buying power is.
So if you experience a 0.25% interest rate increase, that changes your monthly payment by about $43 per month. So my prior conversation about if you were going to wait a year because you could save $10,000, if during that year the interest rate changed by 0.25%, you would completely negate your savings because $43 a month equates to $10,000 in buying power. Now, if the interest rate were to increase by a full percent, so let's say if it goes from 2.75 to 3.75, that's a monthly difference on the principal and interest of $178 per month. And that $178 per month equates to $40,000 in buying power. So if today the interest rate's 2.75 and you want to wait a year, and a year from now the interest rate goes to 3.75, and you were able to save $10,000 during that year's time, you'd still have to buy a $30,000 less expensive house to accomplish the exact same monthly payment, because your buying power is impacted by $40,000 because of that change in rate.
So just so people understand, and I'll give a basic overview, the interest rate is primarily driven by a financial instrument we all can track online. It's called the 10-year Treasury.
Yes.
Right? Now that's not the only thing that impacts it, but it tracks really close to it.
It does.
I've seen the 10-year Treasury note move a full percentage point in a week.
It can. It can.
You know, if there's a major event in the world, I've seen it move a full percentage point in a week. I remember at one point when interest rates were really all over the moon, it moved 3 points in 1 quarter.
Yes.
3 full percentage points in 1 quarter. Now, we've been spoiled.
We have for quite a while.
Right. So, your opinion, and obviously this is only an opinion, where do you think the interest rates are going to go? My opinion is that it's not going to drop any lower, because, like you said, there's a floor rate. You know, once it hits the floor, there's no place else to go. But there's always a ceiling as well, you know, before someone steps in and says, hey, we need to cut this off. What's your opinion about what's going to happen?
I follow and track interest rates on an absolute daily basis. I have to understand what's going on in the market so that I can best advise my clients that are in the process of purchasing a home, especially when you're in a scenario where you're not necessarily locking interest rates right away, or someone has the option of whether they should or not, and I'm helping them make that decision. And it's my opinion that the interest rates will increase within the next 6 months.
And so I'll throw in my opinion, and keep in mind, opinions are just like anything else. They're subject to being wrong. My opinion is we're going to see at least a half point raise in interest rates within the next year.
Agreed.
I don't think that's going to be tomorrow, but I do think that it's going to be probably start moving about 3 to 6 months from now, and we'll see a full half point difference between now and this time next year. Now let's put that into perspective. So you've been in this business longer than I have.
20 years.
We're close, but I've been in it for 15. Have you ever seen a situation where you had a shortage of supply combined with low interest rates, combined with more money in the system because of people either working from home or they didn't go out as often and now they've saved up some money? Have you ever seen where all of these things came together like we're seeing right now?
It's like a perfect storm.
Right. So if you were advising one of your kids and you're saying, you know, here's my kid's advice, what would you be telling them right now?
Buy yesterday.
I joke all the time. The perfect time to buy would have been 2011.
Yes.
But the next best time is literally tomorrow.
One of my favorite sayings in real estate is that you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate and wait.
Right.
And right now couldn't be a better example of that. Prices are going to continue to increase because demand is there and supply is short. Anytime you have a higher demand than you do the supply, it creates the opportunity for increased prices. And that's in any market, not just the real estate market. And the idea that interest rates could stay this low forever is an unrealistic expectation.
Absolutely.
There's nowhere to go from here really but up in terms of rate.
So to kind of tie it all up in a bow, a lot of people want that immediate gratification and they want to be in tomorrow, okay? And others are willing to wait and build. And I know that right now D.R. Horton is only building specs, so therefore Kristy actually has product available to sell right now.
New construction without the wait.
Right.
Inventory homes that can close in as little as 30 days up to about 120 days.
So perhaps we'll cover a different topic talking about that topic. But the difference between buying today, buying 6 months from now, presuming that everything stays the same as far as trajectories go, interest rate trajectory, the price of the home trajectory, those kind of things, realistically, that home office that everybody wants, that we all appreciated over the pandemic, is literally the decision to make, right?
It is. You can buy now at the interest rate that's available today, at the prices that's available today, and get that home office.
Or wait.
Or wait and maybe not be able to.
And for those that are I mean, I love to turn wrenches myself. That's the third car garage that you've always wanted but never had. Well, 6 months from now, that third car garage is unrealistic.
Yes.
So as I stated in the main part, I want to thank Kristy for taking the time to share with us her expertise. Hopefully we'll be doing a lot more videos with Kristy, and let me explain why. So Kristy is one of the top sales reps in the Columbus, Ohio market, and quite frankly one of the top sales reps in the nation when it comes to new home sales. I've known Kristy almost my entire professional career, and she's been nothing but kind to me, but I've watched her grow from having a good solid set of business to off the charts. As an example, the average new home sales rep sells 36 homes. Now that's a lot, but Kristy last year sold 151 homes. This year she'll sell 170 homes, including a little bit of a business change in the business model. So we really do want to take the time to patronize Kristy because she's really good at what she does. Now, of course, the way you do that is you reach out to your favorite realtor, and that is me, Rich Shearrow at RealtyOhio.com is one place you can reach me. You can also reach me at ExploreCentralOhio.com, 614-554-7705. So we really hope you enjoyed this video. As we said, we're going to bring more of these kinds of videos to you. Catch you in the next one.